welcome back to my channel, Learn Smart Coding. So in this video, what we're going to see is how to set up a release pipeline and a build pipeline in Azure DevOps. So this is the CI/CD flow that I'm going to show you. And why are we doing this? So I'm going to show you how to do this and how to deploy an Angular application from your repository to a app service which is hosted on Azure Cloud. So let me repeat this one more time. We are going to deploy the application that you're seeing here, which is the Angular restaurant application that you might have seen already in my complete tutorial. So we're going to deploy this application to this URL. So this URL is from the Microsoft Azure. So I have created a free web application in Microsoft Azure, and I'm going to deploy the code which is available in the GitHub repository. You see this repository. I'm going to take this code and set up the build and the release pipeline in DevOps Azure, and from here we are going to deploy this to this website which is created in the Azure portal. And once you do this, you will get this URL and your application is hosted in cloud. Starting from first until last, every single step what you do is all free. There is no cost incurred in what you're doing. So let's say you have an application and you wanted to deploy and see how it looks. You wanted to bring that application public. This is what the right place that you're gonna watch. So come, without delay, let's get started. So what do you need? If you are a fresher, if you have no idea about this Azure Cloud, that's fine. I'm going to teach you some basic thing to set up the initial requirement, and from there you follow these steps and you will be able to deploy your Angular application. Okay, and also you can add one of the item in your resume that some DevOps works as well. Okay, so let's go one by one. The first one, what do you need to do if you're new? If you don't have an account in Azure portal, this is what you need to do. Go here and just type portal.azure.com. It is going to ask you to log in with a Microsoft credential. Okay, it could be Gmail, it could be anything. So once you do that, select the account that you want and you will be able to log in to the site. Okay, so the first time users, right, if you do not have an account, you're going to try this from first. What you will do is you need to set up your credit card. Don't worry, there is no charge that you will get incurred. The first 30 days, $200 credit is free from Azure, from Microsoft. It's for your learning experience. Okay, so just to identify a bot is not doing, only a human being is doing this, they will ask for a credit card or a debit card, anything from where they can charge, but they're not going to charge, trust me. You just provide that, set up your account, and you should be starting your 30 days trial. Okay, so $200 is more than enough for these things. Though these are free, you still need to set up that. And if you want to explore more in cloud, you can watch my cloud videos, but that's fine. Let's stick to the topic. Once you're here, okay, this is the portal and we are going to create a new the application. So let's go to the home, and then what you need to do is you need to click on create a resource. Okay, and then if you see this web app, if you don't see this, just type web app in the search box. Okay, and once you click on this, we are going to create a web application, right? So what we need is we need a machine to host our service, right? It could be a Windows machine, it could be a Linux machine, where our application is hosted in a virtual directory. Okay, so for that we need to create this. So we are literally creating whatever if you're going for a public thing like Hostgaster, GoDaddy or something, they will do all these things through portal, and that is what we're going to do live. So for you will have a subscription called free subscription, or your subscription name, whatever comes. You guys, if you already have an account and you're just paying it, you will see whatever your account name is or your subscription name is. For me, it's pay as you go. That's the name that I have given. So as I said, this is free, so just select the subscription. You can create a new group or select a group which is already there. In my case, I'm going to select something which I already have. And once you select this, here, this is the unique name. So every single application, it could be a person or an organization who's hosting on the Azure, it will always be like this, right? something.azurewebsite.net. For the higher plan, when company does this, this something.website azurewebsite.net will be mapped to the real domain name. Let's say um, learnsmartcoding.com. That's a domain name, right? So that's a domain name that we can map to this one. So we're not going to see all those things. Let's create something here. So what you need to do, you apply your name here, whatever name that you want. So just to keep it straightforward, what I'm going to do, so I'm saying learn smart coding web demo. Let's say I created, so someone has taken it, not sure. Okay, app demo Angular. Okay, so you see a check mark, which means no one has taken it. And here we're going to deploy code. So select code. Static website is not Angular, so ours is code. Select that, and ours is Node.js, right? So you need to select a runtime as Node 14 LTS. For our application, Node 14 is enough. Okay, if you're working on a higher environment, higher application where Node 16 is required, you select accordingly. Okay, now select Windows. This is the two machine that we have, like Linux OS or Windows OS. For us, Windows is fine. And then you can select the region closest to you. For me, closest is US. I'm selecting US. And this is their free tier, right? For me, it is auto selected. For you guys, if you're wondering what will come here, just there will be an option here to select the tier. Just select the free tier. Okay, I will give you another link which describes in detail of what this web application is, like how to set up all those things. You can refer that if you, in case you need it. Okay, and then you don't need to do anything else. For this video, we don't need to go through all these things. Directly click on create and create, review and create. So once you click on review create, it just validates everything. Everything looks good, all free. You see everything is free, and just hit on create. It's going to initialize the deployment, meaning the setup is going to happen now. The setup is in progress. Let it be. While it is doing, I will explain you something else that you need to do. So keep this aside. What we are going to do is, next thing that you need to do is, you need to type dev.azure.com. Once you type that, okay, once you type that, it will ask you if you haven't had any account, just log in with the account that you have. And once you log in, it'll ask you an organization name. Organization name is this one. You see this after dev.azure.com. The first word that comes is the organization name, and it has to be unique. Okay, that is the one that forms the URL. So with my learnsmartcoding@gmail.com, I have registered it and I have named it as Learn Smart Coding. Okay, so till here is my organization. If I click on, so you just provide that, and then it'll ask you to provide a project name. Okay, just provide the project name. In my case, I've provided a project name called tutorials. So let's go back and see. So once you land here, you will provide a project name, and once you have the project, this is the one that you will land. Okay, so once you click on this project, you will be here. Here, if you click on the repository, you can create a lot of private repository which can be shared. If you want to share to others, you can keep it, or you wanted to safeguard all your codes, don't save it multiple times copying. Use the source control. This is like free. Everything is free. Time have changed. Okay, you guys can use all these things. Long back it was all not free. You cannot maintain your code. Now if you're practicing, if you're learning something, you want to maintain your code, just utilize all these things. This is similar to what GitHub is giving, but this is for Microsoft, and this will be much easier for us to do. And this is one of the way. In GitHub, if you want to do similar deployment, it's GitHub action. We will talk about that in a different video, but let's stick to this Azure DevOps. Okay, so you're here. Let me repeat this. You're in Azure DevOps, your organization, and followed by your project name. Under this project, you can have as many as repository you want. Okay, so I can create a repository here, push the code here. From here also I can set up, but most of you guys I know will have free repository in the GitHub. I'm going to teach you how to deploy your GitHub repository code to Azure. Okay, so the deployment is success. Let's go to resource. Once you go to resource on the overview page, you see this is a website name that you created, right? So if I click and open it, it will give us some information that the app is up and running, but there is no code to display it, right? So we are going to just put our code here, and see how to deploy it. Okay, now let's go back to our DevOps. Here, if you see pipeline, click on the pipeline. I have already created one, but let me show you how to create it from first. So you click on a new pipeline and it will ask you to select where it is from. It could be a GitHub, it could be a same Azure repository GitHub or enterprise or other Git location like big bucket or anything. Okay, you can choose this, and this is YAML format. Okay, we will see about the YAML format, which is the easiest format, but to be more classic, let's click on use classic editor. So in classic editor, it's the same one. You see this? It's just showing it in a different way. So here, what we are going to do, let's say our repository is in Azure repository itself. Okay, then it will just ask you what project, what repository it is, and which branch do you have, all those things, and you can continue from here, but we don't have any code here. So let's choose GitHub. And first time when you log in, it will ask you to authorize. So just say authorize, click on it, and then it will take you to the GitHub login. Provide your username, password, and then say I authorize. Once you authorize, your GitHub is authorized here. You see, I have already authorized it. So I'm authorized to learn smart coding GitHub username. Okay, so I can change it, but let's say I've already authorized, so which means now the Azure DevOps has rights to go and check what repository you have. I currently have around 9 repositories. If I come here, 9 repositories, right? So let's go back, and if you try to click here, see, it's pulling up all the repositories from that one which I already authorized. So we're going to pick up this, the Angular application, select, and there are a lot of branches here. You see this? But we always wanted to deploy the final branch, not the feature branch. So I am going to choose main, select, continue, and these are all pre-template, like based on your application. Let's say you're deploying .NET application, .NET Core, you can choose Java application, Maven, Python, all these are like inbuilt template. Okay, or what we are going to do is we're going to learn from scratch. So let's select on empty job. So this is how the template would have already filled. We don't have any specific template for this Angular, so we choose an empty job, we landed here. Here what you need to do is, it is a set of tasks that it will execute to run this Angular and get this final data ready. You click on the pipeline, it's just the name, so I'm going to give a meaningful name called Angular getting started demo. Okay, so it's just a name for me to identify what CI it is. Okay, continuous integration. CI means CI CD, they call it, right? Continuous integration, continuous deployment. So whenever code checks in, you wanted to build and keep it ready and then deploy it to the application wherever it was hosted. So that's called continuous integration and continuous deployment. CI CD pipeline we are going to set up. So we named it, and don't touch of any of these things. This is fine. Azure pipelines, this is specification to which agent is basically a system which is sitting in Microsoft side. Okay, so this code will be taken to that system and then built and will be ready with all the content that you want. So we're going to choose the OS, leave it to Windows 2019. Okay, and pipeline, let me explain you a little bit. So pipelines, again, this is from Microsoft hosted and private means this will be used in organization. See, Microsoft hosted is free for to certain level, not organization cannot use it. Why? Because in organization, a lot of project, many number of times the build will be triggered. This will not be sufficient for organization, right? So organization will always have their own system, done set up all those things, and it will run in the private system. Let's not talk about it. Let's keep it simple. Let's choose the one which is free, Azure pipelines, and let's come here, the first agent. So when you come to the first agent, what we need to do is we need to name an agent. It's all not mandatory, but let's keep it meaningful. So this is a restaurant web application, so I'm going to name it as restaurant web application agent. And you can leave rest on all as default. Now what you do, you come here and click on a task. Once you come to the task, type npm. Once you type npm, this will come, select it. You see this is the next task that we need to do. So think of this, when your Angular application you wanted to build, right? You do ng serve. What it is doing, it is basically going to build the project and keep it ready, right? So before that you have to install the application, right? Like packages. So for that, what we are saying is install npm. The command is install, and then this is just a display name, what we are doing it. So I'm going to name it as npm install, keep it, and then come again and click on plus, again another npm task. Okay, so this time when you come here, let's change the name to npm build. We are going to build our project. Okay, here instead of command, put a custom tag. Okay, now here what you need to do is you need to put a private command. So before we do this, let me tell you what you need to do in your project, or I would say what has to be in the project. Okay, so let's go back to code, and then there is a repository called deploy to Azure. Okay, or I would say let's go to main. So if you see in our package.json, okay, we have to add a command called a command with a name, a meaningful name. So in our case it is build dash prod. What this is doing, it is having a set of command ng build, and then it is also telling, hey, take the configuration which is named as prod, okay, and do the output passing as all. This command is for production, this command is for stage environment, this command is for QA environment, which means we will have 3 different files. So let me show you what those files are. So come back here, under the source, under the environment, these are the 4 different files for each environment. Okay, so it starts with environment.prod.qa.stage, and this one is for like dev environment. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So for prod, it has its own production URL specific to production. All these configuration will be specific to production. And if you come to QA, ideally speaking, this URL will be different. It will be pointing to QA, right? So it's like settings, but I'm trying to explain you how generally, applications are deployed to different environment. So dev, stage, QA, production. The flow is to go to dev, then QA, all good, ready for production, go to stage, get it tested, finally deploy to production. So along with these 2 details, few more things that we need to modify. Let's go back to the starting and click on angular.json. Okay, you see, I'm telling you all these things, but you can download the whole code, but you need to know what is the difference in the code that is making our build success, right? So that's the reason I'm explaining you, but you always feel free to take this whole code and then try the CI/CD, it will work. But if you're doing it for your own application, or you're trying to do it for your place where you're working, then these are the steps that you need to follow. So once you come here, under the architect, under the configuration, this is the environment specification for prod. Okay, so from here until here it's for production, similarly for stage, similarly for QA. Okay, now if you see, you can just copy paste this, but if you see the important thing, file replacement, it takes this file and replaces this file. Meaning, if some settings are there here in the environment file, okay, when you're building it for production, it will directly build the one which is in the production file. It will replace it and then build it, so that you get the production URL, right? You're deploying to production, you're not pointing to dev environment. That is what it is. So once you do this, okay, all what we need to grab is, we have to go here, go to package.json. This is for production, so you are going to say, hey, run this command. So let's go back. So here you come here, you are going to paste the command run build prod, and then the next step that you need to do is publishing the artifact. Okay, and one more thing I wanted to tell you here. So if you come to the angular.json, okay, this is all important that you should know how it is getting built. So if you come to this angular.json, okay, here in a place where it says where it has to be built, you see this under architect, under option, the output path of the application which is built will go to a folder called dist, dist. Okay, so when you run npm build, you can see in your local that dist folder will be created and all the built content will be inside this disk folder. So why I'm saying this is, you will understand now. So let's go here, click on another task and type publish artifact. Okay, so build artifact, click on this, you got this. Okay, let's name it as this is an app, so I'm going to name it as app. And here, like I said, the folder which will be there is dist folder. Okay, and let's name the artifact as app. So all good, and then you come to variables, set this to true. Okay, and then trigger point, trigger. So this is what, when do you want this build to be triggered? If someone is going to merge the code to main branch, I want this to be triggered, right? So in your company, if you're working, you'll raise a pull request, finally it will be merged to development branch. That is where I need a build, right? So that is what we are going to choose. So I'm saying, hey, enable continuous integration, and I'm saying whenever a branch is coming here, this main branch is affected by doing a merge, I want this build to be triggered. Okay, now what we need to do, we are good here, let's save and queue. That's it. See, now this process is the build process. Okay, now I'll tell you one more thing. When you do this, when this application is building, you can go here and check the agent. Now if you have not created the DevOps earlier, if you have done this so recently, and or you're doing it like a fresh one, you might see the following error. Okay, so let's go back to pipeline. I'll show you what error I got for this login. I have another login which is active from more than 3 years. I never got that error, but I did get this error when I tried this with the new login. You see this, the very first one which I tried just a couple of days back. I was surprised to see this error. You will definitely see this error, okay, if you are doing this new. Don't worry, don't panic. What they're doing is, Microsoft changed certain rules. So they are asking individual to fill a form for them to enable a free tier, the free build mechanism. They're trying to enable it. So all what you need to do is, if you get this error, like to request a free parallelism grant, copy this URL, okay, and just paste it. You get this form, put your name, put your email address to where they want to communicate, and put your organization name. In my case it was Learn Smart Coding, in your case it's your organization name, and then select private and click on submit. Within next 24 hours or less than 24 hours, you will see a mail from Microsoft saying they have enabled it. Once you see that, your pipeline will get succeeded. So let's see what we triggered, right? We triggered something, it's still running. So let's go here, let's see what's happening. Okay, npm install is happening, and then npm build, and then the artifact will be ready. So while this is getting ready, okay, what we can do is let's explore something quickly on the this side. Okay, so here if you see, this is the one that you have set up. This is free, right? Like free. How much is free? So around 1 GB of data, like the space, and some level of memory's consumption is free. if it goes beyond that, if your application is intensely using some memory and doing all crazy things, let's say if it does that, simple, after that limit per day, your application will shut down. That's it, because it's free, right? They won't give you too much. But for simple application, this is more than enough for you guys to learn. This is the well starting thing, and moreover you have credits, so we'll talk about the credits later. So now we know this. Whenever someone is hitting an URL, you can see here course hitting, all those things. You can, if you're interested, you can watch my Azure videos. You can understand more about these things. So let's go back. It's building now. npm installation is done. npm build is happening. Okay, after a couple of minutes, the build is success. You can see everything is success. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to create a release pipeline. Okay, so before that, let's come back to our job. Let's take a look at what's happening. So if you click on this, you will see all this. You see this artifact. If I click on this artifact, it will take me to the place where the data, whichever is built. So if I just expand it, under the app, all the contents are there, right? Great, looks nice. This is what we are going to deploy now. Now let's click on release. The next step is to create a new release. So I'm going to create a new release by clicking here, new release pipeline. This is the earlier one that I have, so we'll do it from first. Okay, this is the first thing that you will see. Okay, so basically it is asking you, where am I going to deploy? In our case, we're going to deploy to Azure App Service. Okay, if it was a different place, you will choose accordingly. Okay, so let's choose this, the stage. It's just a name. Okay, so prod, we are directly deploying to prod, so we named as prod. Now if you see this, add an artifact is basically the built content that you need to choose here. Okay, so click on this, it'll ask you from where to choose. So the project was this, and if you choose, ours was Angular getting started demo, right? This was the artifact, the CI pipeline. So once you choose the correct CI pipeline, it will just autofill everything, and we always want the latest. If you want to have a specific version to deploy, also you can choose, but we will go with latest one. Add it. Now it's added. Okay, schedule not set is basically whether deployment is triggering automatically or not. If you want to schedule a deployment at a specific time, you can choose this. We are not going to talk about that. We don't need that for now. So once you choose the stage, what you need to do is let's finish up the upload thing. So what we are going to do is, now we are going to take all this content and upload to the server where we have hosted it through FTP. So if you go to this website where you have this, right, in the top you have get publish profile. Click on get publish profile, it will download. I'm going to open it and show you how it looks. Okay, let me bring up this. So this is the profile details, meaning it will have all sensitive informations, okay, for like username, password, and all those things. So the only thing that we want here is these three basically. So we want the FTP address, we want the username and password. We're going to deploy this to this place. Okay, so let's copy this. Let's go back here, come to task, and the first one, we don't need this. Let's remove this. Okay, similar to the agent that we have here, we need to just name it. So this is a release agent, so we just name it as release AGENT. And then what you need to choose is click on add and select FTP upload. Okay, so we are going to choose the FTP upload. We have added it here. Let's name it as TAU Oriented Restaurant Web App. Okay, now here there are two things that you can make. One is going to this project setting and connecting your Azure DevOps with the portal. So there will be a connection service established. You can choose that way, or you can choose to provide a credential here. So here we need to provide the FTP URL, and we need to provide the username and password. And once this demo is done, I'm going to delete everything. So that's the reason I'm showing all these things. So this is the username, this is the password. You know exactly what to do. Okay, now the other important thing is, so once you fill up the username, password and everything, come here and select the root folder as this folder. Okay, this is the root folder from where we are going to pick up. And here remote directory you have to put as /site/www root. Here is the one where our code will be deployed in the server so that it will run. Okay, then let's check this one, check this and check this, and all good. We're all set. Now let's go and see if something else is there. Now let's click on save. Let's select the name. I'm going to provide a name demo, but you can name it meaningfully with your application name. Okay, so I selected OK. Release should have been okay, so it's saved. Let's create on release. So here you choose this pipeline and then create. See, release created. And if you come here first time alone, because we are doing this as a demo, just click on deploy and deploy it. Basically okay, so let's take a look at the log. See, it's running. Okay, one more thing I wanted to show while it is running is, if you go back to release and try to go to the release where we just edited, you can add more things. Like this is only one stage, right? This is just a production, but in a real time there will be more stages. It will be dev, QA, stage, production. There will be like 4 boxes like this, and you can add like some reviewer. Like, see, you can add the stage, and similarly you can add reviewers. Like for example, if you click here, someone has to approve it. For production you cannot just deploy it, right? So it goes to the real person who has to approve. Only then the deployment will happen. So they are called pre-deployment, post-deployment steps. But for our simple demo, we don't need. We just learned how to deploy, how to create a build pipeline, release pipeline, and deploy our code. So let's go back to our release and see what's going on with our release. Okay, this is the new one. See, the first release for this looks, it's already created. What's the time now? 43. It's right now. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at the log. All great. So it's downloaded the content, it has uploaded. Let's take a look whether it's working or not. So how do I know? If I just click this, it's loading. Okay, you do not have permission to view this directory or page. This could be because the deployment was not taken properly. So let's correct that. Okay, so you just need to come to the release, come to this task. Here we choose this folder. So this folder itself was copied and pasted in the web server, but ideally we need to choose the content which is inside here, right, inside the app. This was the build content, right? So I have to choose this one, app. Okay, that's it. So let's save it. Let's create another release. Let's go here and see whether if that works. So it's queued currently, waiting for the request to be queued. Let's see. See, deployment triggered automatically. Let's go to log. Okay, it downloaded and it uploaded. Let's go here and let's hit a refresh button. All right, see, we hosted the content again to this one. So now what is continuous integration and deployment? As I said, right, I did not touch this anything. So let's go back to show you what's happening. Okay, so we are under the demo. Right now there is only one build. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let's say I come here and let's take a look at this. Let's edit a package. Okay, let's edit any file. Okay, let's say I edited this file. So I'm going to commit here, okay, directly onto the main branch. Okay, now you see this. If I refresh this, there will be a build triggered here. See, I just refreshed this, it queued. It queued because we did a change on the main branch and it recognized that the main branch was affected. This is called continuous integration. So the agent has started, the build process will go through, and then once the build is ready, the release branch will kick in because we enabled the continuous integration as well and deployment as well. Okay, so that's it guys. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something new here. We let me summarize this. So we logged into the portal, the Azure portal, and created a brand new web application app service, and then we logged into devops.azure.com and created our own repository, or through that we're going to use our GitHub repository. We created the build pipeline, release pipeline, and then I showed you how to upload the build content using FTP to our Azure DevOps. So and then I showed you how to upload the content from the build content from our Azure DevOps to our Azure website, and then you saw how continuous integration also worked. Okay, I hope you enjoyed, and all my upcoming videos will have a proper flow where a full stack developer needs, starting from this, and all my upcoming videos will have one by one, and finally a full developer video will be published, or a playlist will be published. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I can help you whatever you want, and also let me know how this video was. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. If you liked my video, don't forget to subscribe my channel, like it, share it, comment it, and never forget to click on the bell icon.